Okay.
Dude, I hope you have the crappiest Thanksgiving, man.
I, I mean, every year it gets harder to beat last year, so that is true. And it is going to be. We'll see. I
All
doubt it.
right,
I
gonna
doubt
be
it.
awesome. Yeah, holy cow. Your family, the way they're growing, and
Yeah.
the stories behind
It'll be
the
a little more down. It'll be a little more down. What's the word? Low key. It'll be more low key
okay.
this year. Last couple of years, everybody gathered at our house. Almost all of our kids and their spouses and their kids and my wife's family, Lori's family from Hershey, PA. They all drove down to Maryland, and so we'd have a you know, huge crowd. It was a lot of fun. This year, not we're
Well, you went to them. You went to your granddaughters or
yeah,
grandson, granddaughters. Yeah. So,
yeah. It's gonna be a little more low key, just two of our kids, and
all right.
yeah. What are your plans?
We are having so my daughter is hosting for the first time in
Nice.
her new house, and it's funny, she's getting a little edgy about things, It's yeah, yeah, there's some planning that goes into it, but
There
we're
can be
ready.
stress.
Yep.
There can be
Yeah, it'll
stress.
work out well. So
It's
your
gonna be
name will come
great.
up. Your name will come up, I promise you.
Who's that? What's his name of that loser that you're doing this podcast with? Is that the question?
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure.
I
Who's
get,
the who's the turkey that no?
yeah.
They're big fans of yours, my friend.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
They're
It'll be
big fans of yours, and their
oh,
stories, like
sure.
for the people that are there, they all have some history with you. But so, all right, well, Jackie Lutz Englehart.
Yeah. Don't rush us through our little intro here, but
I'm not. I'm gonna
I'm
knock.
very excited. Yeah, this is gonna be one of the best, I'm sure. And it's just so
Mhm.
I'll say this to her too. How cool to reconnect. It's just
It
really
is.
it's really satisfying to me at least. I hope for her.
Yeah, I was really happy. Like when I reached out to her, I don't know what I when with the book I was trying to find a range of people. You and I were already like partnering in it, but I was thinking of people that I hadn't connected with in a long time that I remember that would kind of cover certain bases, and she came to mind like right away, and I was so thankful. Like when I reached out to her, that she provided her memories, but then we've connected here, and
Yeah.
as far as this podcast, this is a different frontier. So. Um,
Well, yeah, I mean, she gave you quite a bit of information as well, similar to Doug Dietschy from last week.
I found a picture um, of
More
so Doug
pictures.
talked a lot about Dickie Tague. I
Oh,
have a
okay.
great picture of him that I'm going to share. Maybe I'll do it between the break, uh, and I'll put it up there. But a lot of people don't know who Dickie Tague was, like what
I
he
didn't
looked
know.
like. Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know. Right.
But it's a good picture of him and Ken Reed out in the woods, and
Oh, love it. I
yeah.
love it. Okay. Well, let me do. So let's take a look here. I just want to keep this up to date and reflect on it. It's such a. I, I hope you're looking at this the way I am. This is to me an accomplishment,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we've got all these fantastic interviews. Doug last week just packed, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
With
and
information.
you used the word unpacked, and we
Yeah.
barely unpacked. Like, yeah, he had so much to offer.
Well, yeah, but the thing I was going to point out on this particular one tonight with Jackie, what happened over the last 7 days with the what our correspondences and your conversations with her, the list is growing for me at least of people we need to talk to.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna mention names until we get into it tonight. But wow, I've got a bunch.
I'm gonna throw out some soft ones too. That Margie Danielson break. People
Yeah,
that have mentioned that of course, we have to bring in, but there's a basketball clinic element with Pete Caruso um, that I'm gonna bring up. But yeah, so
Oh, and then we
it's
were talking today about Jim Rumsey, right?
Jim
That
Rumsey. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah,
remember if he was the person who had worked on the Popeye set a movie
he was with Robin Williams.
with Robin Williams. Yeah,
Yep.
that's worth discussing.
Yeah, I think Jim drove him crazy. Like, no, 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 no. Jim was a calming influence for Robin Williams. I'm sure there's no other way that could go.
Oh, that's too good.
Yeah, Jim was instrumental, Jim and Carol, in bringing me back to camp. They were kind of the second level after Jim Olsen and Beth Markel laid the groundwork, and they kind of came in as like the varsity. And yeah, so funny story before you bring Jackie in, I was going to tell you. So we're talking about grandkids. So Brooks, who still
Brooks.
calls me,
So
yeah, still,
good. So good.
yeah, he says it louder than that. But
Oh,
so he's a year and a half, and words. He's still working on words. Like again, he doesn't have a name for me. He has a sound, so he's good with sounds. So association.
hmm,
Halloween was big for him. He sees a ghost, boo. Now he sees Santa, ho ho ho.
nice.
Back to Halloween, he sees a witch. He's like hee 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 hee. Very distinctive. So we were walking in East Aurora the other day, a place where Doug Dietschy uh, grew up, but it's a state park. We were walking through. He was in a stroller, and people were coming the other way. And coming the other way was this lady wearing. It was an early Sunday morning, so she was wearing like sweatpants and whatever. But she had like kind of whitish grayish hair that went out here, and a hoodie that kind of went up.
Yep.
With this going. And all of a sudden, she's coming the other way. He looks at her and goes, hee 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 hee.
Well,
Couldn't be more distinctive, like what he was calling her. We just laughed so hard.
oh, it's so
Hopefully, he
good.
didn't know,
I love that. Kids are amazing. My 3-year-old grandson Bennett, I took him. Dinosaur Land is 2 miles up the road, which is amazing as a grandpa.
oh,
Dinosaur Land, 2 miles
yeah,
away.
wow.
Come on. So I took him there. He's 3. He can name every dinosaur. I mean, we're talking about Apatosaurus, Alamosaurus,
What?
Albertoceratops, or I'm looking at some other names. Like he knows them all
At 3?
at 3. What's behind that is he's extremely smart, but so is his dad. And his dad has been, this is my son-in-law, he's been sitting down with him, teaching him dinosaur names for more than a year.
Wow.
We're walking through Dinosaur Land, and he could name every single one by sight.
All right.
I'm having a hard time
Did I
reading.
mention that our grandson saw a witch or saying he he he?
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure he's very smart too.
All right, no,
Because
no.
he spent the time memorizing the dinosaurs. That's
He's
hilarious.
cute.
Yeah.
He's really cute.
I have a hard time reading the names of these things, and he's spewing them out. It's amazing. Anyway,
They all end with US. That's impressive.
is impressive. I love it.
All right.
All right, let's there
Wow.
it is.
Yeah, wait.
Hey,
Okay,
messed it up at all.
There you
All
are.
right. Jackie Lutz Englehart. Wow, great to see you.
this is crazy.
This
It is
is really
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, this has been a big build-up. Yeah, thank you for
Uh-oh.
doing this.
Yeah. So much
Yeah.
fun. I've been talking to my wife Lori about this this week. She almost came in and sat with me for this one. So
Oh, I was thinking that.
yeah, yeah,
Please
this is
tell her.
And
so much fun. So much fun. And I mean I say this to everybody, but I don't think we've spoken in probably 35 years, Jackie. That's
I just said to my husband, I said, I
crazy.
think it's been 87.
Yeah. Wow.
87.
Evan.
Yep.
That's a long
Okay.
time ago.
Like, tell us, where you are now and
Yeah.
with your family, and then we'll dive way back before that.
Okay. Okay. I was married in 95,
Yeah.
set up on a blind date. I have 3 boys, and I live in Downingtown, which is not too far from where I grew up, Downingtown, Pennsylvania. So I'm still west of Philly, but a little bit
Yep.
further west.
So Westchester
Yes.
University. Okay.
Well, I'm working there now. Yep.
You're working there?
I just switched jobs. I'm working at Westchester University now.
No way. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh,
Okay, so my oldest daughter played lacrosse at Edinburgh, and which is in the PSAC, the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference,
Uh-huh.
and so Westchester was like they were the best team in the PSAC. It's like a much bigger school than the rest of them
Okay.
that are there, and they always beat us pretty good. But Anna did score in her senior year her 100th goal in her career, which she was only the third player to do it for her school in history, and it was very classy because even though she scored the goal against Westchester, it was the final game of her career. They recognized it, and when she scored it, they stopped the game and presented her the ball, and the PA announcer said, Anna Purdy scored her 100th goal, and they gave her
That's
and
great.
just the fact that they had such recognition of like history and stats. Anyway, so
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fun.
so Jackie, how far would you be from, say, Lancaster or Hershey?
I can go 20 minutes west and see a horse and buggy.
Wow.
Because so Lori's family lives in Hershey. How far would that be?
It's about an hour.
Okay.
That's where, yeah, we've been to Hershey a couple times in the last couple years for a wedding and at Hershey Park for Halloween.
Well, interesting. If we get up there, maybe we'll meet you halfway or something. That'd be fun.
There you go.
Hershey Park, the super duper looper
Yeah.
roller coaster. I remember as a kid going there,
Yep.
visiting my Uncle Rich and Aunt Joan, and yeah. So.
I have run into them quite a bit because we're in the same
Have you?
town. Yeah. Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's wild.
Yep.
All right.
Too fun.
So, yeah.
In fact, way back when they first adopted Alex,
Yeah.
we had a play date with my oldest and Joan and Alex. She was at my house.
Holy
Yeah.
cow.
That's
Yeah,
fun.
same elementary school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Crazy. So,
So-
I have another question to ask you about Steve when we get more into this, because somebody just told me that they thought that they know the church that he goes to and there might be a connection there. But anyway, you think you might know it?
No, who?
Hold on. Honestly, because we've been doing these podcasts for
Yeah. Okay.
the last couple months, I am playing such catch up.
Yeah.
Like talking to people that I wish I would have been talking to for the last 20 years, but
Yeah.
haven't, and trying to get caught up. And
Yeah.
Jackie, you are like right there. We've always had that, but you're one of those that I've had so much fun catching up with, and I will figure it out and ask you. So
Okay.
yeah.
Good. I'll see him Thursday.
Will you really?
Yeah. I'll be at his
All right.
house Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Maybe we could talk to him at some point here too.
Oh, yeah.
If he's up to it. That'd be
He
great.
was excited to hear that I was doing this.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you watched any?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've watched him.
And you still
Get more
keep on. And you still agree you still agree to show up.
Came on.
Love it.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Love it. So how long you been in PA then? Long
I've
time?
been in PA all my life.
Okay. I mean, I guess I never knew where you were from. I mean,
Mhm.
Lori grew up Hershey area, and that's where her family still is.
I was Delco,
Okay.
Delaware County.
Yeah.
So good segue here. How did your family first come to camp? Like, how was it? Yeah.
So I loved listening to Bruce O'Byrne and Kim Hawks because we have similar stories. My parents actually went to camp before they were married. My dad worked on the music staff with Norm Sanju.
Amazing.
Okay.
way back when in the late 50s,
All right.
maybe. So yeah, so they knew it. So we started vacationing there, our family, in August we always did 2 weeks in August. I had to wait till my swimming season was over, and then we got to go to camp for 2 weeks in August.
Of course, I'm going to bring up the swimming.
Yeah.
You did when I was.
You brought it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I knew it
that's
was
like your
coming.
niche. You own that. That camp. Yeah. So
That was fun. Yeah, so we went up as a family. We went up many years, and I always wanted to be on staff.
When's the last time you were there?
I was trying to think that I was up there twice after I was married, probably like 2002, 2005 were maybe the 2 years. We were up there with my brother and his family and my mom.
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So with the swimming, Jackie, it's so funny because the island, from camp, it's just like right there. It looks like it's right there, but it's still a mile away. And I've always wondered, like, what made you think you could swim that and back? Like, because we had who was it we just had on? Earl was talking about.
Earl was talking, yeah.
Yeah, and Nate, and they did this practice swim, and they got halfway out there, and they were like, "We can't do it." Like, what do you do then? They came back.
Yeah.
Of course, that was May. The water was cold, but like when you must have been swimming or something made you think, "Oh yeah, I can do that," and go
You had
all
a boat.
there back.
You had a boat trailing
Sunday,
right?
So we had to go to the point. We rode out on the boat boys drove us out to the dock at Tapawingo, and that's where we started. So in all fairness, we only swam one way. We
Okay.
swam from Tapawingo into the beach.
Okay.
And yes, we had to have a boat. We had to have somebody with us rowing a boat next to us.
Right.
But that was like a practice for me. That was equivalent. That distance was one of my swim practices. So way back in the day, I could do it. Now I couldn't do
No
it.
big thing. No big thing.
It was a big thing.
And I only got an ice cream sundae for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say you got more than that. We're still talking about it.
Oh, in the book, I I tried to make a point about, how it was just an ice cream sundae, but if you would have been able to carry the food out for us on the
Oh,
pod,
right, yeah.
yeah, you would have deserved way more than just one ice cream sundae. But yeah,
Yeah, no, that was fun. Ed Shute was, speaking of Ed Shute, he was, when we were guests, he was our server. He and Bonnie,
Okay.
was it Bonnie maybe? And they did something special for me at dinner. They had something special on my plate. So that was,
awesome.
I got a kick
Gotta
out of that.
make up the calories.
There, yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. Did you know Ed before coming to camp, or because I know he's
No, just
No.
for being guests, and he
Yeah.
was our server.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, this is so great to talk with you. I just can't.
Great. Just the conversations Don and I have had, the list continues to grow, and there's some really interesting stories there. We're still looking for Beth Dodds if you know how to get a hold of her.
Yeah, I know a Liz Dodds. She's Elizabeth, but I don't recognize that name even from camp.
She was on boat crew with us.
We'll give it a shot. We'll try it.
This is all about Mrs. Purdy, so we're going to go through here and get some questions from you. And
that's one person I would love to reconnect with. I would love to sit
There
down
we
and have
go.
a chat with
Number-
you.
Yeah.
Number
Yeah.
4 is already answered. Yes, that's very cool.
Oh yeah.
So believe me, she'll be watching this, and she'll bank it. And I will see her this weekend for Thanksgiving. She's going to Scott and Tracy's for Christmas, but we stay in touch a lot. So every time she hears like somebody that remembers her or something, it's nudging her closer to that. So yeah.
You're
She was
saying
always-
nudging her closer to being on our podcast, Don?
Maybe. Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe.
I didn't think it was in question.
Ah,
Wasn't a
We're
question.
we're doing so much to make her happy. She could just, I think she's obligated at this point.
Still, this is not necessarily as much as Tom, you and I try to make this like as much fun as we can, and I only think that
Yeah.
people know like after the fact, like it would be fun. Leading up to it, it seems like this might be kind of like homework or something. So
Well, I hope not. It's just supposed to be fun.
yeah,
Well, we'll get feedback from Jackie when we're done here, whether she enjoyed it or not.
Yeah,
I suspect you will. This is gonna be fun.
this
We
is great.
um I saw in what you wrote to Don, you don't necessarily have any good pranks, but do you have any good stories that you want to share?
I don't have anything compared to the guys. What the guys had in the pranks and the throwing rocks and
Oh,
yeah, that's not
uh,
the standard bearer.
oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
goodness.
yeah.
Yeah, I had the
I'm gonna
same.
get back to the swimming because I still can't. Yeah, I still think about how you own that. But if I could, number two, and again, I never want to have any guest come on here and feel like having read the book is any kind of
Prerequisite. Yeah,
but yeah. But Jackie gave me the most memorable compliment about the book that I can think of. Jackie, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said something to me in the effect of after you got the book that you might have been with one of your children, maybe presumably and adult children, but you, you were reading the book and one of them said to you, "Mom, are you okay?" Because you were like really into it and you were, oh yeah, I'm really into this.
I got that book and I couldn't put it down, Don. I
Oh,
could not, and I ignored my family. And it's
thank
fun
you.
because that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing, catching up with the podcast too. I'm listening to them, and I'm in the same room as my husband, and I got my phone up to my ear listening to you guys. We're watching a football game, but I'm listening to this to try to catch up.
That's
And
funny.
he knows he lost me. I'm in the camp world. So that book took me back. One special thing was about Jerry Curiali,
Mm.
um, because I had just left. It happened a week or two after I left. So I didn't really understand what all. So that kind of answered some questions for me. I mean, hard to read, sad, but I couldn't get enough of that book. Yeah.
Mm.
Because it was our time. They were the years that I was there,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I felt it.
Well, thank you. No,
Yeah.
no, that's interesting to hear too because with Jerry, yeah, 87. Tom, of course, you were there and you
Yeah.
were called on to deliver words in Demorest that night. But I too, I was not there either. And as I wrote that, I was already in Houghton for a few days, and when I heard, I came back, and hardly anyone was there. But it was just devastating. It left such a void. But I feel like what's fulfilling to hear is all these years later, there's a story that is being shared about who Jerry was and the fact that he he was memorizing chapters of the Bible and
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's special to hear Jackie that that meant something to you where you
Hmm.
were there with him in 87 and presumably in 86 and
Yep.
85 he was
Yep.
there.
Yep.
But then the fact that to fill in the gaps of what happened and to be remembered. Anyway,
Well, I think it's good for us to remember him, and Don put the story in the book so that we could be reminded
Yeah.
he lived a life worth living. That's number two. We did number one. We're gonna have you read one of your one of yours in a minute as well.
Oh no.
We already did number four. Maybe Mrs. Purdy, you'd like to reconnect with. What jobs did you actually have at camp?
So I was Woodlands housekeeping.
all right.
I
All
was
seasons?
sorry.
All seasons.
Yeah. Yes. Although there was one summer, and I can't remember what happened here, but my brother and I came back one summer for the last 2 or 3 weeks because they needed help. And we must have just been on vacation or something, and we came back one summer, went home, did wash, repacked bags, drove back up, and then I was lifeguard. I did lifeguarding.
Okay.
Yeah, and probably some more housekeeping, but I did housekeeping in Woodlands mostly. And with Dot Hudson. Don,
Yeah.
do you remember?
Yeah,
Dot
sure
Hudson?
do. Yeah.
Small world story, she actually ended up at the same retirement community as my mom is now.
Oh my goodness.
So I reconnected with Dot Hudson. And I was only 15 at the time. And she says, we've never hired a 15-year-old to do this job. Like, well, here I am. And the funniest memory with that was all your grandfather's glass cases of all from all his travels and gifts that lined the hallway to the Woodlands dining room.
Mhm.
We had to clean them. We
Okay.
had to take everything out and we had to take it out cabinet by cabinet, lay it exactly the way it was on the floor behind us, clean the shelf, clean the glass case, and then put it all back exactly the way it was.
Wow.
Wow. So
Like
I
every
would've
week?
thought maybe you could have
No,
gotten
once in the beginning of the summer.
Okay. Wow.
Holy cow. That's precision. Yeah,
Yes.
that's real detailed care. I would have thought you could just clean the glass or whatever, but wow, you had to wait a minute. He was like, that was facing, 30 degrees northeast. Now it's like only 33 degrees northeast. Like,
That's funny.
I need that for the book. I need that. Jackie, we're gonna stay in touch because
Ah,
day in the life of. I knew you'd have some good stuff for that. So
that and I got to know Walt and Betty Maloon
Oh,
because they had their own room in Woodlands,
yep.
and I was in charge of keeping their room clean.
I would say, Jackie, that they were Walt and Betty Maloon were very, very important people to camp. So
They were amazing.
Camp would have wanted to make sure they had their A-listers, taking care of them. So that's a special assignment that you got. I'm not surprised that you got that.
No, they were so kind. They were great people. So I was very fortunate to get to know them.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because when we had Cliff Thompson on, I had no idea that his family history was with the Demarest, Betty Demarest, and she married Walt Maloon after. Yes, so how that happened, but wow, interesting.
let's see. We've got 1, 2. We did
Tom's
4 and
Tom's
5.
locked and loaded here.
Yeah. What about Camp Landmark? Any particular spot?
It probably is the point.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. That's camp.
Yeah.
It is. It's just such a great
camp as far as it goes. Yeah. So my cousin, Bob Van Wicklen, he engaged or proposed to his fiance there at the end of the point.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Telling me, yeah. And she was not even from camp. He just brought her there. And, hey, we're going to go out to this point and propose to her there.
Aren't you supposed to take them to a place that's important to them, not necessarily?
Yeah. It became a place important to her, but I'll have to bring him on to explain.
I like that one. Yeah, he should be on our list.
Yeah.
He definitely should
actually, he was on boats after us. And Bob from later on years, Tom, and Jackie too. But
that's always hard bringing a non-camp person in.
It is, yeah.
They don't, and they just don't get it.
Right. and to try to describe it is tough. They have to kind of live it to know it. But
Well, let me ask you that question, Jackie. Do you think your family understands?
So I my husband grew up going to Maine. So
Okay.
his family had a little cottage up in Maine, and he spent his summers up there. And when we took him to camp those 2 years, he didn't like the schedule.
mm,
He was told when he had to eat, and all that, and
Yeah, yeah.
didn't like that. So I lost, and we now spend summer vacations up in Maine on that lake.
That's not a bad
okay,
trade-off. It's not
It's
terrible.
not,
No.
no. So they don't, people who didn't grow, and that's the biggest story that's the story that I tell, I think. Just the cabins that I lived in for a summer and what camp was like. And even though people don't understand it, it was camp. It's in my blood.
yeah.
Do- And so you have three boys, right?
Yes.
So do you think they understand or even can visualize you as a teen working there?
Um, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I I've tried to explain to one, my youngest just finished soccer at Messiah University,
Okay.
and um that his connection to the guys, like, you wouldn't understand it. An outsider wouldn't understand that. You had to be in it. And so I
Yeah.
just tried to explain to him last week or 2 weeks ago, that's what camp is to me. Like,
Mm.
Yeah.
that connection, and that you only know it if you were there.
That is a great analogy, right? It's like belonging to a team.
Yeah.
You have to be on the team to understand it. You can't explain it, and
Nope.
no one else can experience it unless they're part of the team.
Yep.
I
Yep.
like that. I've had a real difficult time explaining to my kids how amazing it was, and it's a shame that they haven't experienced it. Some of the folks we've had on have taken their kids to camp, and
Hmm.
they've even worked there. Didn't Don Miller's daughter work on boat crew, Don?
Boat
So
crew, yeah, yeah,
yeah, so to pass on the legacy and have them share
Hmm.
experience, I miss that. I wish I'd been able to do that with my kids in a way. They had great experiences, but
yeah.
they did not have camp.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
trying. I'm kind of in the midst of that. I think with mine in terms of we've gone back. Dad left in '02, and but my two daughters and their husband and fiance, we go back and we get in the pontoon boat and go by camp every year. And I wrote this in the book, but like one of them was like, "What's that big building in the middle? Like, do people stay overnight there?"
Oh.
And
Mm.
yeah, they do. They stay overnight. And then when we finally went back, they like, "Oh my gosh, this place is amazing." But even this past summer, when we finally went back and had the family there for a Sunday service, um, Tyler and his husband was like, "What time is mass?" And yeah, and I told them, they have daycare, so they took Brooks there, and it was just so foreign to them, but they finally got a taste, and I tried to cram everything in. We had like
Oh, I bet.
37 minutes to get in the teepee and before it closed, and they went in, and Tyler had like two cheeseburgers, and but yeah, so I will build on that. And actually I have some video and pictures of that which I have not ever shared, but I'm kind of leaking that out a little bit in terms of a special conversation that we're having with
Hmm.
people that understand it and are in the perfect position,
Hmm.
you, Jackie, and Tom to I'll put that out there pretty soon, and
We
this
get it. We get
sound
it.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, I know
Hey,
you do.
we're gonna get cut off.
Okay,
Jackie, can you come back?
Yep.
please,
All
please
I'll
right.
do.
try.
We need about 2 minutes because I got to save the video and then we'll just come back onto the same link.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, little bathroom break or whatever. But
Yeah, we'll pick it
podcast
up from right here. This is so much fun.
We're just getting started.
Oh,
Just
no.
getting started.
So much
Yes.
fun. All right.
All right.
We're at
And we're back. As soon as Don comes on video.
there we go.
There it is.
Right, of course.
We got
You
a lot-
guys are awesome for doing this. I
Oh,
can't imagine the
thank you.
hours that it takes.
I don't know. I would pay someone to do this. This is fun.
We have a production team and like 12 interns. Oh, man. Tom is very technically savvy and
That's hilarious.
very nostalgically
Yeah.
inclined. So my family right now, they're all out. So tonight, we're time stamping this, but they have tomorrow off for Thanksgiving, but they're all out watching the movie. What's the Wizard of Oz movie?
Oh, Wicked.
Wicked.
Yeah, they're all watching it.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I saw it actually in the theater here in Shays Buffalo. It was really, really good, like 5 years ago.
Oh, the play. You saw
The play. Yeah, it was a great premise
Yeah.
for the show. Yeah, it wasn't, so we'll see what they think. But anyway, we're having more fun.
There you go.
We have more reminiscing coming up